Change. We are back here with the IROC in just a flurry of frustration. For those of you that have been following along, you know the frustration that I've had with this car. And so let me explain to you what it does, because I need help from you all out there because I'm beside myself. I have one last thing to try, which I have a part on order, and we'll get to that. So this is an 88 IROC 350 TPI with a 700 R4 overdrive. I don't believe that anything has really been effed with the exception of the EGR has been disconnected since the day I bought it. And when I bought it a few years ago, it ran really well. A little bit of an oil burner, but it ran really well. Valve guide seals kind of oil burning. But not anything where we really had to add water, just a little puff of smoke when you start it up, but runs like a bat out of hell, it really does. The AC actually works. It does leak a little bit. We have to add Freon. We converted it over to 134, but other than that, it runs great. My wife normally would use it as her daily in the spring and the fall when it's not too hot, because she likes to be able to drive it with the T-top off, doesn't even care about the air conditioning. We had a mass airflow. This is how it all starts. We had a mass airflow sensor go bad. So I disconnected the mass airflow sensor, and it put through the check engine light, but it put it into some kind of default setting, and it still ran great. And then, and that was about a year and a half that it ran great with the mass airflow disconnected and the check engine light on. And then it started this problem, which I said, well, I got a problem now, and I have to try to figure it out, so I got to replace that mass airflow sensor, so I replaced the mass airflow sensor. And over the time that I owned it, it did have little glitches here or there, and I wound up replacing the idle air control, the coolant temp sensor, the gauge temp sensor, the throttle position switch, I'm trying to think of what else, the knock sensor. And then I wound up having this problem. So now the problem is, it starts up all the time, and sometimes I would say 10% of the time you could start it up, get in it, and drive the balls off of it and never have any problem. And then this weird kind of thing started where you started up and the idle was just a little low, a hair low, where my wife wouldn't even hear it or feel it. But if you know the car, you could tell it's just a hair low. And if you touch the throttle, whether it's the gas pedal or right here on the engine, just touch the throttle to give it a little more gas, it completely shuts down. Doesn't run out of gas, doesn't stumble out, it just shuts off like an electronic shut off. Really strange. And that was independent of the outside air temperature, how cool or hot it was outside, and independent of the engine temperature, meaning that you could have been driving it all day long and it's running like a bat out of hell, and then shut it off and go to start it right back up, and it's this little lower idle, and you can't drive the car, you can't touch it. Sometimes you just let it idle like that for a minute or two, and all of a sudden that idle just comes up a little bit, and boom, it's saying to you, I'm ready to drive. And then sometimes it takes 10 minutes, 20 minutes, up to 30 minutes of sitting here idling before it allows you to drive. And it seems like the problem over the time of my troubleshooting is actually getting worse, where it's a less, it doesn't want to drive at all. It starts and runs fine, it idles nice and smooth, but it's just a hair lower than it normally is. And then when it kicks up, man, you could run the crap out of it. So we wound up trying to troubleshoot, and what we noticed is when the idle's a little bit hair low, the timing is way low, and then when the idle comes back up, the timing sort of comes to where it should be. So we thought maybe there was some problem with the way the timing's set up. So we readjusted the timing. Back here, we disconnected the advance wire so that you can set the timing. So we reset the timing, reset the advance wire. The advance wire is doing what it's supposed to do. However, the timing doesn't come up I guess that computer controlled timing doesn't come in. So we thought maybe we had a distributor problem. So we wound up replacing the entire distributor. So you know, everything, all the guts is new, the cap rotor, the ignition control module. That had no change whatsoever. The coil, so everything's been replaced. I mean, we just got frustrated and started replacing parts again. So the coolant temp sensor, the knock sensor, the throttle position sensor, the intake air control valve replaced, distributor replaced, coil replaced. All the wires are good. The spark plug wires are good. Plugs are good. Batteries fully charged. Grounds are good. We checked the body ground over here is good. We checked continuity to the other grounds that we could see. All of the grounds under the hood that we can see are all checking out good. Everything seems to be where it should be. However, the problem persists. So now I did a lot of searching online, and I spoke to a couple of guys that remember these cars from back in the day. There's not many mechanics that really around here that I could find that even know what to do with these cars. And they were pointing to potential ECM problems, computer problems. So I pulled the computer down, and when I pulled the computer down from under the dash, I did notice it was a reman. So I'm like, okay, could the reman computer have been bad? Yeah, possibly. So I got a computer out of a wrecked 88 Corvette. I knew the PROM wouldn't work necessarily. Didn't know the details on the Corvette, but the computer number was right. So I got that computer. I got it on eBay, got that computer in, and when I took the computer out of this one and pulled the PROM out, it was a Hypertech aftermarket PROM in the computer that was in this. So now I'm like, shit. I was hoping to see a stock PROM, but I swapped in the eBay computer and no change whatsoever with the Hypertech PROM that was original to this car when I bought it. No change, same thing. So now the only other thing is, you know, the PROM. And I actually spoke to a guy last night. We were working on a different truck and a different beast for different reasons. And this guy, who's a transmission guy, came by, and he was familiar with these cars. And I'm telling him the symptoms, and this is before I did the computer swap. I did the computer swap this morning. So this is last night. The guy automatically, he said PROM. He said PROM. Yeah, I wasn't even done with my explanation of the problem, and he said PROM. And then I go and pull the computer out this morning and take the PROM out and see that it's a Hypertech PROM that's who knows how old. So maybe that is my problem. So anyway, I rechecked everything. I had my meter out to make sure that my throttle position sensor was adjusted properly, and that's adjusted properly. I even have new connectors on all the different sensors to make sure that the connectors were good. And this is my problem. So yeah, I'm throwing parts at it now in just frustration. I got a PROM on order. The only PROM I could find was aftermarket ones. There was a Hypertech that was in here. I actually ordered the Jet Performance PROM because I just wanted the most basic PROM that I could find. I couldn't find any on eBay or anything like that. Any PROMs available that were like a stock replacement. So I got the lowest street replacement PROM I could find because I just want the thing to run right. So I'm gonna set the camera up. I know we're a little into this, but I'm gonna set the camera up and I'm gonna hit a stopwatch and I'll show you what I got, and I'll sort of speed the video up so that you don't have to wait for the car to say I'm okay to drive. Here I am idling. Now if I just touch this throttle, it just shuts off. As soon as I touch the throttle, it shuts off. So what I'm going to do is start it up and let it run, and then you'll hear that point. I'll speed it up, but I'll tell you how long it takes, but you're going to hear for yourself when the car says, hey, I'm ready to drive. for it to say, okay, drive me. And I could have drove for days if I didn't turn it off, and it would have been fine. Now, it's off. I could go in there, turn it on, and it could be good to go, or it's going to have that little bit lower idle, and it'll stall as soon as I hit the throttle. So let's see what it does. It's good. It's ready to drive. I know I can drive it. And that took less than 30 seconds. It was almost enough for me to set the timer and it was good. But it could have been another 13 minutes. I'll shut it off, start it back up again, and it could be 20 minutes. It's not temperature related in the end. So I am out of options other than a PROM. We're gonna get one in, should be in a couple days, and we'll make an update. But I need help. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.